The ride back home was filled with much stress and anxiety. The traitor in question, Annie Leonhardt, captured and in custody, restraints tied all over her body, her arms shackled behind her back. The guards were keeping a close eye on her. If she so much as twitched, they were prepared to lop her head off, to dice her down from head to toe until she was nothing but mincemeat. They weren't taking any chances, as Erwin's requests. In the meantime, Eren was slowly recovering, another wagon that was carrying him. He found himself wrapped inside of a scout cloak, looking around to see Mikasa and Armin and Jean, along with the few other members of the Levi Corps. They were all grateful to see that he had awoken and that he was doing all right. Of course, Eren wanted to get the full details about what had happened. While he was grateful for what they had been able to do, when he heard more in full and in detail about everything that transpired, he'd be lying if he said it didn't fill him with sadness. But why? Why did it have to be her? Of course, no one knew the reason. They wouldn't know until they got back and got her into custody. Eren would then turn to Levi, who was riding on horseback beside them. "Captain, I'm sorry. I went against your orders. I didn't do as I was told and I transformed. Whatever punishment awaits, I accept it." "You're a fool, Eren Yeager. You're an idiot. But I told you to follow your instincts. I told you to do what you felt was best. The only thing I know is that you managed to take down the enemy. You protected your comrades. I couldn't ask any more of you. Although self-discipline is something we're going to have to work on. It's clear now, and it should be clear for all to see. The power you have is truly a gift. You give us an opportunity to get our lives back. All the deaths, everything we've suffered, it won't be in vain." As he looked over, he saw that Petra was sitting next to him. As she gave him a hug, she was grateful for what he had done. The others were also proud of him. "You don't have to worry about a thing, Eren. If anyone has to mess with you, they'll have to get through us. Damn right they will. I don't want anyone questioning his loyalty. It's thanks to him that we're still alive. If they've got a problem with him, they've got a problem with us." "You guys, he'll be all right. You did a good job, Eren. You should be proud of yourself." There were a couple of Titans that followed them on the way back, although they were only abnormals, nothing that the team couldn't handle. Before long, they found themselves back within the walls. Military police were called in immediately. Guards on top of guards on top of guards. While Eren was taken to get some rest, and while Erwin would have to meet with the Royal Council, Annie was taken away. She was going to be taken underground to the cellars. Her interrogation would be in short soon enough. They made sure that a part of the city had been evacuated. She was going to be carried through, and they didn't want her doing anything shafty. While she was being taken off, Erwin would be meeting with the higher-ups, who wished to discuss in detail what happened on the 57th Recon. He would explain to those in high authority what they had managed to learn. Of course, to many of them, it was a shock to learn that one of their own, a member of the military police, had been responsible for being a Titan, for attacking the citizens, for the recent attack that occurred, the destruction of Hanji's test subjects. Of course, there was still the matter of knowing what exactly they were going to do with her. It seemed as though execution would probably be the likeliest of options, but still, this was their chance to learn. A new test subject in their midst? But how could they trust that she wouldn't transform? Was it worth it to keep her alive? At least until they got as much information as they could out of her. Then from there, they'd simply do away with her. Of course, there were those of the recent graduates who had their own thoughts on the matter. There was Armin, who just couldn't believe that Annie would do something like that. John, in the meanwhile, was pissed, especially for what she had done to Marco. We should have been able to see it. The way she acted, pretending to be all stoic and nonchalant. She only acted that way because she only saw us all as fools, and she played us as such. If it were up to me, I'd execute her right on the spot. John, you don't mean that. Of course I do, Armin. And why the hell are you so sympathetic towards her? It's not about being sympathetic. It's just, what could you possibly say that could justify her actions? What? You saw what she was trying to do. You saw the people she killed. But she spared me. I mean, if it was really just about want and destruction, wouldn't she have killed more of us? If getting to Eren was all that mattered, she should have taken all of us out with ease. Yeah? Well, that was her fault. The dumb bitch underestimated just how powerful Eren truly was, and he took her down. Honestly, I don't remember what happened, Eren would say. I don't remember anything. I just felt so much anger. She was about to crush Petra. I couldn't allow it. Mikasa would place her hand on his shoulder. You have nothing to apologize for, Eren. You did the right thing. She's a traitor. It's because of her we lost so many people. Innocent people. She's probably been colluding with the other Titans. But now this only confirms something else. It means for a fact that the Colossal Titan and the Armored Titan, they aren't just abnormals. In all likelihood, they are also working with the female Titan. But for what, we can't really be sure. What could they be after? What is she after? I mean, if she's a sympathetic to the Titans, she doesn't act like them. What if it's something bigger, though? Armin would say. I mean, we've never been outside of the 3 walls. Not in our entire life. We have no idea what's even out there, if there's anything out there. So what? Are you suggesting that someone sent them? I find it hard to believe. We're what's left of humanity. What if it's the cultists, though? The cultists? Yeah, Sean would say. What if it's the cultists? I mean, come on. They've been nut jobs who have just been grasping for power ever since that attack 5 years ago. I mean, I'd hate to think it, but there are some madmen who just want to watch the world burn. People who worship things they can't understand. What if there's a cult out there that worships the Titans, that believe that the Titans are the only ones that should roam the earth and want to destroy humanity? Perhaps that's their goal. But that doesn't make any sense either. I mean, think about it. By that logic, shouldn't we have all been destroyed by now? But that does raise a lot more questions, though. Mikasa would ask. I mean, how long has Annie been a Titan shifter? Was it recent, or has it always been that way? If that's the case, if she, let's just say, was a shifter 5 years ago, why would she just strike now? Why now of all times? All three of them would look back at Eren. Me? I mean, I'm not saying that it has to be you, but you turned into a Titan, but then you kept turning and you became something else. What if they were waiting for you to awaken? That could be a possibility. But waiting for me, what do I have to do with it? Well, you were a Titan. Keyword is were. You became something entirely different. You were born from the chest of a Titan. And what's worse, you're a Titan killer. You were able to do something that we couldn't. You punched the colossal Titan. You scared it off. You punched through the female Titan even when it tried to crystallize its chest. You just kept hammering away. The fists, the bones in your fists, they were breaking. The blood was splattering. And yet it seemed like the angrier you got, the stronger you got. On pure rage and adrenaline alone, you managed to punch through the hardening of the female Titan. And you broke through, and you were able to rip her out. That power isn't normal. It might not even be for them. Perhaps they have their own plans, their own agenda. And you, just being who you are, it threw a wrench in those plans. Of course, everyone had their own speculations. Everyone had their own ideas and their own guessings as to what could possibly be. But at the end of the day, they just weren't sure. They had no way of knowing. In the meantime, Annie had been locked away. Her room had 7 guards, all standing around her in a circle. Their blades, some with guns, all of them were drawn and ready to strike her down at a moment's notice. She had all personal property removed from her, earrings, her signet ring that she kept around her hand, everything. She was in shackles from head to toe, all of them nailed to the ground. The door to her cellar would open as Erwin, Hanji, and Levi stepped in. So, Annie asked, I take it this is your form of interrogation? You could say that. But there's a lot that we don't know. A lot that we don't understand. And we're hoping that you can help us with that. You think I'm going to? I wouldn't be talking like you have a choice, Levi said. Make no mistake about it, you are not the one in charge here, Miss Leonhardt. In fact, I guess there's no point in beating around the bush. That's not really your style, now is it? You're going to die. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The only question is, when are you going to die? Are you going to do the right thing? Try to redeem yourself somewhat? Or can we just off you here and now? It'd be simple, it'd be quick, and unlike all of the pain and destruction you've caused us, we're not going to torture you. But if you want to turn into a Titan before we killed you, Hanji said, I mean, we wouldn't be against that at all. I mean, you are a fine specimen, Miss Leonhardt. I truly want to get to know you better. And it would only be but fair compensation. After all, you destroyed Sanjin and Bean, my babies. It's the least you can do. All right, you two, save it. We have to try to get answers first, Erwin said. Were you sent here by someone? And if so, who? Are you working with the armored and the colossal titan? Questions, 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 Mr. Smith. But I'm pretty sure you already know all those answers. I mean, you're not dumb. I know that much. Now's not the time to have a smart mouth. What do you know? What I know is that you're not the center of the universe, although you certainly like to act like you are. You're not the only ones out here. And you might think that you're on the brink of extinction, but trust and believe, it can often be argued that it's probably the other way around. You're not so low on the food chain. In fact, you're quite high up. The truth's been right in front of you this whole time, and yet none of you have been able to realize it. Your history, everything you believe, everything you think you know, it's all a complete and utter lie. A lie you tell yourselves. She continued to speak vaguely, referring to the ins and outs of the world. They weren't really getting the answers that they wanted. She was just leading them on a wild goose chase. The interrogations continued like this. No matter what they tried, she wasn't giving up anything worth any note. And eventually, she just stopped talking. After a few days, they questioned what their next move would be. She has to die, you know that. I do, but still, it feels like it would be such a waste. Every day we keep her alive, it's a potential danger. We don't know what she's capable of, what she could possibly do. She might try to pull a fast one, try to take us all down with her. I just don't think it's that simple. Well, what else could it be? Levi would ask Erwin. She's just been giving us the runaround. She's obviously not going to talk. But what if we could use her to draw out the other traitors? Draw them out? What do you mean? What I'm saying is this. We make her execution public. Theatrics, the whole works, the whole 9 yards. We bring it all out to the forefront. Because you think there are more. The Colossal and the Armored Titan? Of course. If they're all working together, if she's as valuable to them as we believe she is, they're not just going to allow her to die. We make sure we keep record of everyone who's supposed to be in attendance. Anyone who slips out, anyone who tries to sneak off for any reason, then we put them under suspicion as well. Okay, but let's say we go through with your gamble. You're trying to draw out 2 other high advanced titans in hopes that they'll try to save one that's already in our custody. Worst case scenario, the female titan, the armored titan, and the colossal titan all emerge together at once. That's 3 advanced titans that we have to deal with at that point. Then we have to take Eren into consideration. He's powerful, but he still can't control it. If he sees the titans, he'll go into a rampaging fit. They'll fight and destroy everything around them. And I believe he can beat 1, but 2, let alone 3. Don't you think that's pushing it a bit too far? But he would have our support, Hanji would say. It's not like Eren would fight alone. And, in spite of his rage-filled, thrashing, he's at least been conscious enough not to kill a teammate. But that's only in the most extreme of circumstances. How many times can we keep tempting fate? Honestly, I think it's for the best if we just execute it now. We get it over with, once and for all. Or, we could use this to our advantage. What do you mean by that? It's simple. I have a plan, but I'm going to need you all to trust me. None of the information leaves this room. Hanji, Levi would both agree as they listened to the plan. It was going to be a long shot, but if they played their cards right, it would hopefully draw out the other traitors. Right now, at least to their knowledge, there were 3 advanced titans they had to deal with. The armored titan, the colossal titan, and the female titan that was currently in their custody. This plan was going to draw out the other titans, but not all in the same location. If they pulled this off, then they could possibly pick them off once and for all. Eren would still be recovering. He was getting back to his regular strength. As he was being fed breakfast by Mikasa, Armin rushed into the room, his face with worry and panic. "What's the matter, Armin?" Eren would ask him. "It's about Annie." "What? What is it?" "She's going to be executed. In 3 days' time, the ruling already came in." Everyone, although not surprised by the final decision, it was still shocking to hear nonetheless. But there was more than that. They decided who's going to carry out the execution. Eren, it's going to be you. This concludes Attack on Titan, War of the Titans. What if Eren Yeager was the Hulk? Season 1, Part 4. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is Power Core Productions and Podcastings that is to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we will be doing the Season 1 finale for Attack on Titan, War of the Titans. What if Eren Yeager was the Hulk? Season 1, Part 5, the Season 1 finale. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with Power Core Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.